the ever so simple Minnesota tube. In addition to the tube, you are also going to need 2 3-way stopcocks, 4 dual lure lock caps, a Christmas tree, a Kelly clamp with tape around the edges so you don't cut your tube. Now you need a manometer. I recommend the Posey Cufflator. Respiratory has them. Call RT, you need that item. A 50cc syringe, a marking pen, lubricating jelly, and a traction device. We're going to use Kerlix and a 1-liter bag of saline, and you also need a bucket of water. There are 2 balloons, one for the esophagus, one for the stomach. There are suction holes here for the stomach and suction holes here for the esophagus. There are 6 ports. I know it's a little confusing and only 4 are useful. Let's go through them. There's one here for suctioning out the stomach, and there's one looks just like it for suctioning the esophagus. There is a port here for inflating the esophagus balloon, and then there's this thing. Leave that cap in. That's meant to be a manometry port, but it's useless. And this one is for inflating the stomach balloon. Again, leave that cap in place. The manometer is supposed to fit there, but it doesn't. But it does fit on a 3-way stopcock. You'll see. Now, we're going to place our 3-way stopcocks in the stomach balloon port, and then one in the esophagus balloon port. And these fit pretty snugly. They seem to be airtight, so it's good just as it is. Now I'm going to check my balloons for leaks, and I'm going to start with the esophagus balloon. But this is your opportunity to really be creative. Choose whichever balloon you want to check first. I'm going to dunk it in some water and inflate air, just like you would with a bicycle tire, and look for bubbles. That one's good to go. Now you want to make sure you fully deflate all the air from the balloon. Now I'm going to check my stomach balloon, and I want you to remember that once you've completed this portion of the procedure, the easiest part is over. So use the same technique. Put it in some water, inject some air, and boom, no bubbles. We're good to go. Suck all the air out of the stomach balloon so it's nice and flat. Now you're going to lubricate your tube and your balloons, and you want to use a water-based lubrication so it doesn't damage the tube. And when we insert it, it's going to be just like an OG tube. You technically can go through the nose, but I think it's easier to go through the mouth. Now you want to insert the tube all the way, and then we're going to check to confirm that it is in the stomach, not the esophagus. So you're going to inject 50 cc's of air into the stomach balloon. This is not your opportunity to be creative. You have to start with the stomach balloon. So inject your 50 cc's of air, and you're going to get an x-ray and confirm that it is below the diaphragm. And now it is safe to continue. Now you're going to fully inflate the balloon, and with the Minnesota gastric balloon, it holds 500 cc's of air. That's 500 cc's of air, which is 9 more pushes from your 50 cc syringe. Now you can close it off and place your cap so you don't get any air leaking out of that balloon that you worked so hard to get in the right spot. Time to set up traction. Now go get that football helmet and throw it in the trash, because we're going to do this with some Kerlix and a liter bag of saline. That way nothing's blocking your airway. Make a slip knot with your Kerlix around the tube and secure it down. And with the other end, grab your liter bag of saline, and you're going to pull those ends through the hole in the top of the bag. Now you're going to tie a knot here, but this is an opportunity for creativity. Any type of knot will do. Now you can hang this up over your IV pole, and it's going to give you 1 kilogram of traction on your tube. Now stick with me, we're almost there. It's the top of the 9th. We're going to hook up suction to our gastric aspiration port and suction out the stomach. And once that's all done, you're going to clamp this port using the Kelly clamp with fancy tape. Remove the suction from the gastric port, and now the search is on for the esophagus port. Connect your suction here, and if you have persistent bleeding in the esophagus, now you need to inflate the esophageal balloon. Grab your manometer, and it connects pretty nicely here into the stopcock. When you squeeze the bottom of the Cufflator, it inflates the esophagus balloon, and the goal is 30 millimeters of mercury. You can go up to 45 millimeters of mercury if you need to, but let's stop here and check to see if we have tamponade. Turn the stopcock to off and replace the caps on the end of the stopcock. And just like the Linton tube video, mark with the pen at the lips so you know if the tube is pulling out. And there you go. That is pretty much what it looks like, except with a lot more blood.